There we go. Well, look, thank you everybody for joining this session today, where we're going to be just sharing some insights around Trelson Assessment, as it's called, which is a leading assessment tool coming out of Sweden, and is now used, I believe, in about 35 countries globally. And those who know C-Learning well, and I'm Jamie Smith, I'm the Executive Chairman of C-Learning, and I'm joined by a number of C-Learning colleagues on this call. We've got a reputation for picking some of the best innovations globally and bringing it to educators in all of the countries that we serve. And we work with people in about 30 different countries ourselves. And we have the privilege, I suppose, from time to time of seeing something that we might think is outstanding in a particular country, in this case, Sweden, from our partners. And we'd like to bring that to the educators in the UK as well, so that you can benefit from some of the most respected and trusted technologies that are making a difference in education. Why this one today is particularly relevant, in my opinion, is because we've all gone through this pandemic. We all know what kind of challenges that presented to us all. But one of the key ones was around how to manage online assessments. Now, whether there's another pandemic or not is kind of by the by. We now know that there could be, but we also have learned an awful lot, I think, in the last 2 years. One of the things that I think is a big opportunity for all of us is that online assessment is clearly just going to grow and grow and grow and grow, because that's just the direction of travel. You know, it's more environmentally friendly, it's more sustainable, it's actually far more secure as well. So there's less chance of somebody breaching what's in the exam before it's actually set live and things like that. So there's all those kind of drivers that are going to force the inevitable global expansion of online assessments. I would like the UK to be in the vanguard of progressive practice, along with Sweden and Finland and Norway and other countries that we work in. And that's kind of what today's about. So I'm really sort of humbled that you've given up some time to come along today and to listen to this. And I will hand over to Chris in a moment just to do a little bit more by way of introduction. And then Chris will hand over to Pepe and Sarah and colleagues just to take you through an actual demonstration of what Trelson Assessment is. It is an outstanding tool. It's very well established. It's been very established in Sweden for quite some time. So this isn't a brand new untested thing. This has been managing millions of examinations for quite a long time. So it's a very trusted and well established solution. I know that UK exam boards are very much looking at online assessment and as the direction of travel to go in. So there's a very timely aspect to this as well. So enjoy this session. I'll say a few words at the end as well. I'm very much looking forward to it, even though I am familiar with the product. It always seems very cool when I get to see it. Welcome to those people who might be joining us midway through. So welcome, Holly. Good to see you. And I'll stop talking now and I'll hand over to my esteemed colleague, Chris. I'll hand over to you now. Chris.
Esteemed, that's a new one for me. Thank you, Jamie. You're very kind. Yeah, I'm Chris. I'm the Software Solutions Manager for C-Learning. I've been working very closely with the online partners team over the past 2 years to bring Trelson Assessment to the UK market. There's a great interest, as Jamie said, in digital exams and assessments at the moment, and that continues to grow. We've got a very strong community of users in the UK now who share ideas and help develop the product, which is fantastic. And it's literally from strength to strength. Every single week we get additional schools, colleges signing up to this product, which is fantastic. If anybody's got any questions during the presentation, if you'd like to pop those into the chat, or at the end of the presentation, if you prefer the hands-up approach, that's absolutely fine. I'll hand over to my colleagues now, online partners, just to introduce themselves. Sarah, do you want to start and introduce yourself next?
Okay, thank you, Chris. My name is Sarah, and I would love to introduce myself as a teacher, because that is what I am, even though I am working with online partner as well. I have been working as a teacher for the past 25 years now, and for about 3 years or so, I have been working with Chrome X, which is the former name of Trelson Assessment. And I helped online partner developing the product, and now I work with online partner. So I am a product specialist, and my colleague Pepe, who are you?
Hello everyone, just thank you very much for having us. If you see me moving, I'm moving is because I'm just following my son, that is he wants to join the meeting. So yes, I'm in charge in online partner. I'm in charge for the international partners management, and I've been working for the education sector for the last 2 years, and yes, I'm super happy to be here and just to be able to show you.
Pepe.
Exactly. I'm going to move a little bit because he's keeping just wanted to get into the meeting.
He can be in your lap. We're all grown up with children,
Exactly.
so he can be in your lap. I don't think anyone would mind.
So yes, talking about Trelson, I think that it's very different. I'm going to start sharing my screen.
Is it okay, Pepe? I can do it. Is it okay with you and August?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Otherwise, just tell me.
Exactly.
The modern father in.
I'm gonna try exactly. So
he's actually off work. He's not working today.
Exactly.
This is extra. So.
But I really wanted to be
You
here.
mean you just do this for fun, Pepe?
Yeah. Because he wanted to be with.
Exactly. So yes. Here you have our presentation. So a little bit of history about Trelson Assessment. Like as Sarah said before it was called Chromex. So as Jamie said before, this is not something new. So it's been something that we created in 2016, and it's been working for the application for the last 6 years, trying to developing and improving the app. And it was created because in one of our municipalities here in Sweden, the Gothenburg, they asked us to create something for them to be able to evaluate. They were been using a Google Whisper education platform for years. And the thing is, here in Sweden, since 2017, let me know, sorry if I'm mistaken, but I think that is for 2017 that all national exams, national exams, they have to be digital. So
yes.
That's why they asked us in 1 year before, okay, we have to be prepared for the next year to be able to handle all these exams digitally. And that's why we created at that time Chromex. And that's why it's so, as you will see it later, it's so easy, simple. And it's because we created because all the teachers and all the students, they were used to Google Workspace for Education. Then we created something that it was very similar for them. Okay.
And may I just add that Gothenburg is the second largest city of Sweden. So it is really, it's a big city.
Exactly. Here you can see the study. We were talking about 66,000 students, 11,000 teachers. That was at that time in 2016. Now we're still probably it's going to be 100,000 students and I don't know how many teachers. And now this is how where we are today. It's 20% growth per year, more than 2.7 million exams submitted. 160,000 active students selected into 9 languages, and we have users in more than 35 countries, including Spain, for example, by the way, is where I come from. And this is what we're going to show you today. Sarah is going to show all these main points of Trelson and help students focus on the right things, easy and simple to use. Of course, lock down all the students' computer, allow access to pre-approved resources. But we're going to be very, very focused on the assistive technologies, spell to check, text to speech to check, background colors, etc. Of course, it's integrated with all Google tools, Classroom, Google Forms, Calendar, everything. And as you can see here, now it's possible to import Google Forms directly into Trelson, and it's possible to do the auto grading in the forms.
But Pepe, why did we change names? Why did we change from Chromex to Trelson?
Yeah, the thing is, it was because at the beginning, Chromex, as the name Chromex says, we were very focused on Chromebooks. Of course, it's still Trelson where it works the best is with Chromebooks. But nowadays we can deal like we lock down any kind of devices like Chromebooks, PCs, Macs, iPads. But still, and it's not only because only with Trelson, is to use, like in all education, to be able to use Chromebooks is where they are the best devices, at least in our opinion, for the education. But it was at the beginning, it was just for this. It was Chromex for Chromebooks, all the Chrome OS environment. Okay, here you can see like our like a little bit how it looks, our support portal. And for example, there you can see it's quite easy all the articles with all the information about how to use Trelson. Okay, both from the admin side, teachers, with all how to create an exam during the exam and after the exam. And here you can see our colleagues Chris and Shasma. I think that she's now in the meeting, so that they're going to be more than happy to help you with anything you need. And now I stop sharing my screen and I let you, Sarah, keeping with the demo, and I'm gonna like taking the sound. So just please.
I guess we're all parents, Pepper.
Exactly.
So we don't.
My son is 10 months, so I'm still getting used to it.
Okay, thank you, Pepper, for that presentation. Before I start sharing my screen, I would like to say that I have used. I tend to say Chromex because that is in my mind. And I think it was Google who really told us that you have to change names. I think that is the story.
It was. They ask us politely. Okay, now maybe
politely, sort of politely.
Exactly.
So that is why we had to change the name, if I am correctly informed. So I worked with I am a teacher, and I worked with this, and I found a few years ago, I worked with Hedström, which is the head of my boss, and I told him that I missed a few things, especially for people with special needs and dyslexia. And I told him that you have to develop this product. And so we started to work together. So I tried things with my students, and my students gave me feedback and told me okay, this is easy, this is hard, this is the way we have to do it. And Hedström, my boss, he took this to the developers, and just in an hour he changes it, and that's the way it goes. So it is really, and it's super easy. I really must say it's super easy to use and to set up and to use within classes. And I teach secondary school. I did not say that, did I? So my students are from 13 to like 15, sometimes 16. And I teach languages, if I missed to say that. So any questions before I start sharing my screen? No? I think we covered that with the name. I saw that in the chat. So I'm going to show you how to set up. There are two ways of setting up Trelson. You can do it through Google Classroom, and I will show that later on. But first of all, I will just show it, just from Trelson straight on. And if I forget something, Pepper, just let me know. Okay. Let me see. Now you see my screen, right? So you went, okay, I was already logged in, but you go to assessment.trelson.com. That is the web page. And as you can see, I already have tests here. What you can do is that you can have templates if you want to. You can have already templates that you have created beforehand, but you can also create them from scratch, which is what I'm going to do now. So you just click on assignment, and you just write your name, and you have the time, when to start and when to stop. And you can also anonymize your submissions. But what you have to think about is that they are created in the Google Drive, and that takes 45 minutes after the deadline. So now it will be 6:45 when you can see all the submissions. Okay, and you have different PIN codes here, and that is just to start. And I must say this as well. I don't use Trelson just for exams. I use Trelson every time my students are writing. So I use this one assignment can be open for several lessons from Monday to Friday, and we continue working. So I try to tell teachers to use Trelson when teaching and not just for exams, to use it in their everyday teaching to minimize the digital distraction, because it locks down the computer and they can't go to YouTube, they stop playing. But you can also then easily add assistive technology. So think of that when we go through this. So think lessons and learning and not just exams. I need this PIN code to resume, and that is if a student tries to Google, if it tries to, go, something happens in class and they want to resume the assignment, you have the code, and you give them the code, and then it's okay. Let me just put this in here like this. No, not for the iPad. All right, so you don't have to do this when this is just what I have to do, so I can show you and demo it. And then you have all these tools where you can choose language. If you should be a British English, I presume, the spell check. And here is my favorite. This is my favorite, the text to speech function. So this is what I do with my students, that I tell them to write, and then I have headphones on my desk, and I tell them to come and get the headphones and listen to what they have written, and to check the text while listening. So they write, they listen, and they check. Do you get it? What I mean? Yeah. So that is for students with dyslexia. This is just awesome. And it's super easy to fix as well. So and not just for dyslexia, but for all students, because sometimes they cannot see what is wrong, but they hear that there is something wrong. And that is great. We also have the speech to text function, where you can dictate and the computer converts it to text, which is a bit tricky if you need to speak very, like the Queen of England to make it work. No, not really, but sort of. Okay, so now I have created the test, and I can add my students like this. So I can add, if I work with Google Classroom, I can add students from this from a course, and that happens automatically. I will add myself, hopefully. Sorry. Oh, it has to be so, like this.
Exactly.
I was sorry, I was in the demo version. That is why I thought I was on my. Thank you. Okay, so I added a student like this. And what I can do as well is that I can add teachers as well. If you want to be more than one teacher when you are working, and you would like to have another teacher helping you out when marking your assignments or whatever, there can be more than one teacher. But what you can do is that you can also add resources. like this, where you can add just anything that you have in your Google Drive. You can add to Trelson. You can add a YouTube video, you can add a calculator and websites as well. So I cannot show you that now because of the other option. But if you want your students to search the internet, for instance, but you don't want them to go just on any page, you just add websites, and that locks down the computer and tells the students just to stay on that website. Do you get it? Yeah. Okay. So that minimizes the digital distraction. So you choose where the student could be. Right. Let me just add a file. So this is what you do now. You want to add a resource. You have, for instance, you have an instruction, or you have just anything that you would like your students to work with. I just took one here. You click on it and you select it. And when you tick this box, automatically it will convert to a PDF with the text-to-speech support, which did you see? It was just super easy to add this assistive technology, which is great for your students. I won't go there now with the modules. We will stay here now just to show you. Okay, so now I am going to be a student. Oh, Peppa, I am being really silly now because, oh, let me
remember that you don't remember the password.
I hope I
Let's
did.
sign in.
Happened? I did. And that is
First.
why does it do like this now?
It's because you're trying to access from the same. You have to open a new Chrome like user instead of trying to get from the same Chrome window. So if you go down.
I am very sorry. I get really stressed now. Can we let me just, if I add you instead as a student?
Yes, no problem.
You'll be a good student, Pepe. Let's add Mini Pepe as a student.
Exactly. But I don't know if you're going to be able. Let's try to add me as a student exactly. But the thing is,
like this.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're not going to be able to do it because I'm not in that. Let's see, try it. Let's see, because if you didn't, I think it's going to be easier, Sarah.
Yeah.
If you open, just close this Trelson assessment and enter with your regular domain on online partner using your Sarah Brun account, and then you're going to be able to add me or yourself. Don't worry, it's this happened, and then everyone is going to be able to see how easy and quick.
Well, it doesn't look very easy and quick for me now because I can think now. Let me just. I don't know what to do now.
Then let me just.
Pepe, do you want to share your screen, Pepe?
Exactly. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I am very sorry about
No, Sarah, you're doing a fine job. Don't you worry, Sarah.
So it's like, can you start like
there you go.
You can see my screen, right?
Yep. Yeah, got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna open Trelson, as Sarah says before, like through assessment.trelson.com. Okay, I'm a teacher. Okay, but I'm gonna sign in as okay, just like for the teachers to be able to join Trelson is just using their own Google account, and then I'm gonna go very quick in here because it's just the same as he did before. Create an assignment.
I am very sorry about this.
No problem. That's why we are like a team. So in here, just adding the unsafe mode to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna the spell check into English.
Thank you, Dave.
This is like speed exams setting up, Pepe. This is like, I'm timing you. Come on, you got 30 seconds, Pepe. Come on, you're going to break the world record, and you've got a baby on your knee.
So just like now I'm adding myself.
This is because I wasn't on my
exactly
on my regular account, because I was on the demo account.
That is
what is wrong.
Sarah,
now my brain is working again.
Sarah, I can tell you with complete confidence that practically everybody on this call has done presentations and had something happen. For my part, I was once giving a keynote address at a huge arena in Birmingham, and the computer completely froze because the hard drive crashed. And I was in front of 2,000 people. So
thank you. I can take August in my lap. August, can you be with me?
Exactly.
I have to go to Stockholm to take care of him.
So I'm adding, for example,
yes, thank you.
This one, for
that
example.
is what I like.
Add it and convert it into from a Google Doc into a PDF. And then what you can do, Sarah, now if you want, is because I added you as a student, as you can see. Try to get in as a student so you can show if you want, or I can do it.
Let me see.
Just let me. I'm just putting the background colors for the as an extra accessibility tools for a specific student. Okay. And then I'm gonna, well, I don't have to add, but anyhow, we can add it in here too. And then I'm gonna give you 15 extra minutes for the exam.
Okay, I am in the test now.
And then you're able to get into.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want?
Hey, you are my wingman, Pepe.
Okay, no, but we can do like this. That's gonna be fun. It's another way of demoing. I can be the teacher and you can be the student. So it's.
I am always the student now.
So you can share the screen, and then you can jump and sharing the screens.
Okay.
We're all students here.
Exactly. It's like you are all teachers, and now I'm gonna be the only teacher. Like.
Okay, so now my brain is working again. Hopefully. What I wanted to show you was how to, because I get it now, because I wasn't on my regular account. That is why but now I am. So I am now a student, and this is what it looks like when you are a student. So you open it up and you tell your students what they do is from over here, they have the spell checker. Here they have the speech to text and the text to speech. And also here, they can, open, and over here, they have the bold and more text, where you can choose this one, for instance, the Open Dyslexic. And my students, they really, really like this one when they writing. And one of my students, they said, like, it really, really, really is good for their brain, they said, because it is black. We didn't change. Now you are the teacher, Pepe. Could you please change it to color background?
Yes. I think that it's, let me check one thing. customizations. Yeah, if you go out and in again, because you enter into Trelson before me doing the pin 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
Okay. So this is what I wanted to show you with the color background and that font. That really is that my dyslexic students or students with special needs, they really like when it's not white, just white. They want it to be like this, and you can just change your fonts over here, and also size and everything, whatever you want. But what is great is the students, they're writing, and they just mark it, and they go to the text to speak function, click on it, and let's hide that one. And down here, you can click on that wheel, and I always tell them to go a bit slower because it is a bit quick for them, like this. And then you just press the play function, and there is this computer voice reading the text for the students, and that helps them to correct the text. And that is really, really good. I have seen a lot of my students, they have really developed their writing by working like this. Writing, listening, writing, listening. So I can really recommend you to try that. And another great thing is, if you see here, I am close to my name up here. I click on this one, and you see what happens now. Now I can use the split view. So this is what I can do. And this is what I do with my students. I have the instructions on the right part of the screen, and I have the writing space on the left part of the screen. And then they are only here. So that is the only way, the only thing they're doing. They stay here. And I really do believe that this minimizes the digital distractions because they stay focused. So my student with special needs really enjoys this. And so do I, because it makes the classroom a lot calmer. Okay, any questions that far? Only from August.
Exactly.
Mini Pepe has a question, but anybody else, if you either want to post your questions into the chat, feel free to do so, or any comments or observations, and we'll circle back and respond to those as we go through. Jason's just posted a question, which I think I know the answer to, but I will defer to my expert colleagues in Sweden. Does it restrict students from opening new tabs in Chrome when you've locked it into the examination, or can they get around it in some way by opening new tabs and doing a Google search?
Is that for you, Pepe?
Yeah, I can take it. Yes, of course. It restricts everything from it locks down completely any kind of devices, and it's not only the new tabs in the Chrome. It's that they cannot get into their own drive. They cannot surf. They cannot do anything unless you allow them to do whatever you need.
Yeah, like I said with that web page. If I allow them to go to that specific web page, they can stay only on that web page.
Yeah, there's a question coming from Dave as well. Dave is a good friend to C Learning, and he asks some amazing questions. And this is classic. This is a classic one from Dave. So thank you. Could we see the formula editing tool? Is this as powerful as tools like Equatio, or could we enable Equatio as an option? If not, so it's a question about the formula editing tool. I don't know if you have a view on
that. I think that Dave, you're referring to the sketch module, in that module where they can write on hand on the touch screen, right?
Not necessarily. No, it's just the ability for students to be able to enter formulae. So in science and maths exams, the ability to use subscripts, superscripts, all kinds of different terminology that is often been a limit to us in other programs that we've used for exams. Equatio does it brilliantly, which is why I referenced that, and I noted it appeared as though you had a formula editing tool built into Trelson, and I was just interested to see what that looked like.
It's not that now I have my micro on. Yes, so it's not that we have to like because what we have is a new model to be able to import the Google Forms. The thing is, I don't know if what are you using Chromebooks in your school, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, then there is a way that, but I think that maybe this can be like a personal or individual demo for you, because there is a way to use Chromebooks with our extension instead of the kiosk mode, and then using the extension, we can add other extensions as equation as a resource. So meaning they can be using Trelson and having a question at the same time. Okay, so but this is like a professional use of Trelson, like as I can say that it's a way of you can we can control completely the Chromebook. We close everything, but we can keep the question extension open, so they can use it during the exam.
So if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, Pepe, Trelson is, so you'd upload all of your examination content, whether that's quizzes, formulas, whatever it might be, but there isn't an inbuilt part of the solution, which is a formula editing tool, so to speak, like Equatio. That's an external thing that you'd link to in the exam. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, understood.
But it only works using our extension and not the kiosk mode, because
Sure.
using the kiosk mode, we can, not yet. We're working on it to be able to take other extension into Trelson using the kiosk mode, but right now it's just
sure. One question also from James. Do students have the option to open an incognito window? So if you've locked down the environment so they can't go off and open up other things, is there a way to open an incognito window? I can see Pepe shaking his head, so I think the answer is no.
No, except on this Proctor extension that you can allow if you want as an admin to be able to. But if in the general way of using Trelson, no, because they cannot open any kind of Chrome tab. Doesn't matter if it's incognito or using their own. And the thing is, because when, I don't know if you know how it works with the kiosk mode. So when you're accessing the Chromebook through a kiosk mode app, you're not accessing the Chromebook device as a regular way. So you cannot open any kind of tabs, because it's not the same way of accessing the Chromebook. But no.
I think from my point of view, when I mean, thanks for your answer there, Pepe. For everybody else's benefit on the call, when I first saw Trelson and started to have a play with it, I think from an educator's point of view, and anyone who's been involved in setting examinations and assessments and things in terms of curriculum planning, once you've used it a couple of times, for me, one of the big wins is the speed at which you can set an exam. You can literally, I mean, as Pepe sort of did a few minutes ago, you can just whiz through it, and in about 2 minutes you can have an exam set.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
for me, that's just fantastic compared to the hassle that I used to have as well. I don't know if some of my colleagues from slightly larger organizations who are on the call, such as R&M Group, I don't know if you're the same, but I used to run quite a large college, and we used to have to set up examination centers, and just the sheer administration, and we had to have computers specifically set up and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sure many places still do, but that used to cost us an absolute fortune because we had to book out the spaces and everything. And now with Trelson, you could just do that remotely onto Chromebooks, for example. And it's just so easy in comparison to the industry of hassle that I used to have with examination centers inside my college. So I think it just makes life a lot easier as well, aside from all the nice functionality that we've been talking about. I just think it makes life easier.
Yeah, so that is what I do during class when we decide on something, and sometimes it just comes to my mind, okay, let's do this in Trelson, and then I do that while I have the class in front of me, and do fixing it with my right hand and fixing the class with the left hand. That is so it's really easy setting it up.
Yeah, just a question that's coming again from Dave, another absolutely superb question. This is looking at the formal exams, so you're in the actual exam, and it's an exam that's been set by an exam board. Does Trelson provide the ability to print the submission from that as evidence of submission of doing the exam? Because in very specific circumstances, a particular exam board may require that in the actual exam at the end. Is that something it can do?
Not. It's they cannot do it directly the students. It can be done from the teacher.
Okay.
But if it's something, as this is something that you will see it, and Jamie's been talking a little bit about this. We've been improving Trelson during the years because you teachers you were asking things that they were mandatory for you. So if this is something that it has to be done, then we will fix it. But right now, it has to be the teacher, and then of course, what it can be done is like the teacher sharing the PDFs of the submissions to the students, and then the students are going to be able to print that. So it's always it can be a solution.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two elements to this, and Dave's question is coming from the perspective of the formal assessments and the rules that the exam board set at the end, and so that's one question. And I think there's another element to it, which is perhaps the bit where I naturally gravitate a little bit more towards from an educator point of view, which is giving students the experience of doing exams in formal conditions, but in preparation for their actual exam. I think there's a huge opportunity, and I suspect increasingly we will see research that shows that the more students normalize what it's like to take exams in the run up to actually doing it, I think their performance will improve. Back in the day, years ago, when I was going through all this stuff, we used to have the mock exams and all that sort of stuff and pretend exams beforehand, but that was just once, kind of just before the actual exam. Whereas I think if this is built into curriculum planning as part of a standard thing that we just do, so students are more regularly exposed to it, I think that could be a very powerful tool for enhancing learning outcomes personally. And Jason's just posted a comment as well, just saying that he can relate to some of the comments I was making about the administration and costs and industry of work that goes into managing exams, which still goes on, and maybe it will always go on for a long time. But I think that this tool could be part of making that journey a little bit easier.
I was thinking that we have 15 minutes left, sort of. I was thinking that perhaps I should show how to import Google Forms and how to work with that, if that is of interest.
Sienna, do you feel maybe what you can try to do is do this in like importing a Google previously created Google form from Classroom? Do you know what I mean? So accessing Trelson from Classroom, and then from them create an exam, like importing a. I don't know if I'm complicated.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So just
I am only do.
So do it normally, like how to import.
Otherwise, I do it the way I was thinking from the beginning.
Yeah, my benchmark is if Mini Pepe can't do it, we're not doing it.
I can show you later how to use the Classroom integration.
Yeah, you're always on the advanced things.
Exactly.
I want to show the easy thing. For
let's go for the easy stuff today. There is
this is for the easy.
There's
easy
so much
stuff
to this that we could go into, but
Exactly.
obviously we've got a limited time today. But I guess from my point of view, if everybody here today has just got a sense of some of the key features and the potential, because there's a lot more involved in this, obviously. And then you can have a play with it and maybe have a go with it yourself at the end, and Chris can always help you with that, and he'll say a few words about that at the end. Then you can start to just see how easy it is to administer and set up your exams. But Sarah, back to you.
Okay, so I go ahead to do it like this, and to add, what I can do now is that I can add a form or a gap text, and I can import Google form if I want. If I have an existing Google form, I can do this. I just click on it and select it, and voila, super easy, right? When I have an existing Google form. That is really, really nice, I think. And what I also can do is that what I can do is, when I click on this little wheel, I can show one question at a time. I can shuffle questions and also have automatic grading, which I think is awesome.
this option of one question at a time for the students with with problems with attention is super important. You know,
Yeah.
like with Google Forms, you have to have all the questions, and it's quite complicated for them. It's like if they have lack of attention.
Yeah, so now you have one question at a time, and you just stay focused. You stay on this only this screen, and you saw that I imported the an existing Google form, and now I can just edit it. So I can continue with my questions, and I can add other questions if I just want to continue working with it. So, for instance, I add a question, and then I have a lot of options like multiple choice, a drop down, a tick box. You see a lot of different options to use. I love the gap text, for instance, which I, as a language teacher, when you work with, let's say you work with irregular verbs or whatever, you put the text in and there is a gap text, which is super easy. If I write in English, and then I just I mark a word and I click on this one, and that is just the gap word. All right, I think that's pretty much it. There are so many other things to show, but I don't think we have all the time of showing it. Do you think so, or anything you think of, Pepe?
No, I think that we cover more or less everything that is important. I think that it's good if we have time to question and to solve whatever you need. And then we can share all the information about our support portal, where they can find all the information, for example, how to use the Google Classroom integration and everything. And of course, we are more than happy for individual demos for anything you need. So as
perhaps
just said, this is a very powerful app. So, but I think that right now we cover everything.
Yeah, I was just thinking of one last thing, and that is when you add it, you have it like this. So you just, when you work with Google Classroom, you have your Google Classroom like this. You just click on Trelson Assessment, and then it's on.
Simple.
Super simple.
Super simple. Look, that's brilliant. And thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Pepe, and thank you especially Mini Pepe, who I thought was just brilliant. Mini Pepe, he's trying to present there, and you keep stopping him, Pepe. So
exactly.
You know, he's there. I can tell he's like, look, lift me up, Dad. I need to present this.
Have to be in the video.
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely a family business. So look, great presentation. Thank you for running through that. And we've always skipped across the surface of some of the features there, and it's always difficult to know which features to share, and because there's lots of other things we could have gone into. But the general principle is there's a well-established solution that's a leading solution globally for administering examinations if you are a Google user. And it's already well established. There's no risk involved with it. It's a brilliant solution. But if there's any questions or comments, anybody feels comfortable in sticking their camera on and raising their hand, please hit the raise hand button. Speaking of which, I know this is a bit irrelevant to this particular meeting, but I saw a new feature in the raise hand feature in a meeting I was in earlier today that I've never seen before, where it actually told me that it was putting my hand down automatically because I'd already spoken. I don't know if that's happened to anybody else yet, but that happened to me. Anyway, maybe I talk too much. Dave, you've got your hand up. Please fire away, Dave.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see whether that works for me as well. With this one, so yesterday I was fortunate enough to see with Jamie. So this is probably a question for you, Jamie, as much as anybody else. But the student success platform as well, and I wonder whether there is scope for assignments created within Trelson to be fed through into student success as well, because that pulls through data from Google Classroom. And just want to see whether you're aware of any organizations that have been able to successfully pull data from Trelson through into that platform.
I'll let Pepe and colleagues talk about whether any other integrations are dynamically linking to Trelson, but that's a really interesting idea, Dave. Short answer is don't know. We haven't done it yet. But for anybody else on the call who doesn't know what student success is, it's a brand new leading dashboard analytics solution for anybody using Google, basically. And it would be a very, very nice thing to link with Trelson, actually. So maybe we'll take that offline, Dave, and perhaps explore that. I think it's a really good idea.
I can tell you right now, not, because the Trelson, the scores, they're not connected right now into Classroom. But it could be something to study. And the thing is, because why is happening this? Because here in Sweden, it's not allowed to have the scores of the students in the drive. Okay, so it has to be local. And then the student success, it has to be in the cloud. But that could be something interesting, and maybe that's something that we can work with Pedro and Candela about. So I know them. So
yeah, I know. It's a hyper-connected world we're all in, isn't it? Somebody said to me a long time ago, Pepe, that when you get to know everybody, you've been around too long.
Exactly.
Anyway, look, that's a great answer, and we will definitely take that forward. And again, Dave, that's your third fantastic question of the day. So thank you, Dave. That's brilliant. Anybody else got any wider questions before I hand over to Chris, just to wrap things up a little bit and explain how you can get access to it, and also a little bit about the pricing of it, because I'm sure that some people may have a few questions about the commercials around this. But please hit the raised hand button if you'd like to raise a question. Oh, Pepe.
I just want to say, it's not a question. I just want to say something really quick. That is about that, like you as our admin or a teacher, you can use templates in Trelson to, for example, for mock exams. So you can create your own metadata. You can create or change the headers. So that you know that you can do this, but it has to be the admin, and then you create your specific headers and the metadata that are like mandatory for some of the mock exams, and that's all.
I think there's so many benefits to it. I won't go into it now, but I think just referring to the industry of examinations in colleges in particular that I used to be very involved with, I think there's huge opportunity to streamline cost and the industry of work that goes into the administration of examinations as well. I think it could be quite a game changer actually for some colleges in particular in that regard, but we won't go into that in detail today. Chris, if it's okay with you, I'll just hand back to you, my friend, and perhaps you just want to talk through a little bit around the commercials around it, and also contact information of how to have a play with it as a trial, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jamie. Pepe, Sarah, thank you ever so much for the demo today. Very much appreciated. Anybody who's on the call today, or anybody who's actually signed up to this webinar, I will be getting in touch with after the meeting. I will send through a link that allows you to sign up to 10 test licenses, so you can try out the product for yourself. If anybody wants to go into any more detail, Dave, Kelly, maybe Jason, I don't know, please feel free to reach out to me on the information I send over. We can get an extended demo run through and a trial set up for you. From a pricing perspective as well, there's actually two models available. There is an annual subscription, which is based on individual students. That retails at £3 per year. Now, with the annual subscription, once a license is assigned to a student, that license stays with the student for that entire year. The other model is the monthly assessment model, where you get unlimited licenses and you get charged 50p per user per month. Now, we have a number of schools in the UK prefer this model because if they've got certain exam periods that they want to use a lot of licenses, and then they might drop off a little bit. So there's two options available to you there. Happy enough to talk a little bit more in more detail if needs be after this call. Like I say, I'll reach out. I'll set you up with a link for the 10 licenses, and you can try that out for yourselves. Yes, Jamie, thank you.
Yeah, just to add to what you were saying there as well, I think it's just worth mentioning by way of wrapping up that since we introduced this to the UK, which wasn't that long ago, probably less than a year ago, Chris, maybe, I'm guessing, it's had quite high adoption, and I think that reflects the fact that the world is heading in this direction. There may be lots of different flavors of how different organizations choose to do this, but I would be quite clear if I was back on the board of a college that, or even a large, multi-academy trust or whatever, I think this is very much the direction of travel. Online assessments is the way it's going. And I think that's where this tool has a particular sort of role to play. And there's quite a lot of organizations that have already adopted it. So I was just sharing that because if you hadn't already picked up from your own networks and everything else across the UK as a whole, this is very much where the momentum is in terms of looking at how each organization wants to do online assessments differently, irrespective of what exam board's doing, by the way. And I can tell you for a fact also, because I'm actually involved with an association that brings all the exam boards together, that they're all very actively going in this direction. So they're very actively looking at this because, well, frankly, they've got no choice, have they, after what happened. So so it's definitely the direction of travel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's rare that we have catch-up meetings every Friday to see how things are going, and it's rare these days that I don't mention at least 2 or 3 new subscribers to Trelson every single week. So yeah, it is extremely popular. Jason, you've mentioned in there, it is actually based on your student count rather than your staff count. So that answers that question off. Yeah, I guess it just remains for me to say thank you to everybody who's been on the call today. Pepe, Sarah, Shazma from Online Partner, Jamie for being the host of the most, as always. I will stop the recording now. Really appreciate everybody coming on the call today, and I'll send out the links to the licenses and whatnot shortly after this event. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Great to see everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And
Bye.
Thank you.